How do you know if home or school ABA programming might be best for your child? Today, we're talking all about that. Hi there, I'm Dr. Mary Barbera, autism mom, behavior analyst, and best-selling author. Each week, I provide you with some of my ideas about turning autism or signs of autism around. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, you can do that now. Today, we're sharing a short excerpt from podcast 215, where I'm talking about home versus school ABA programming and how both parents and professionals can advocate for the right placement for the right child. For Lucas at age 10, is this really me homeschooling? Is that going to change his trajectory of where he's going to be at 12 or 18 or 25? And I didn't think it would. And now he's 23. And again, he goes to a center 6 hours a day. And I have friends who don't have that. For whatever reason, their adult kids can't go to this center-based program. And so you end up, I think, in a difficult situation where, your kid's at home all day. It's a lot of hours to fill with meaningful activities. Okay, so let's switch gears pretty quickly, and then I'm going to get to the rest of the questions. I know this is kind of long. Let's switch gears to how to tell if a center or school is appropriate, no matter what you call it, whether you call it ABA, verbal behavior, non-ABA, floor time, whatever typical school. How do you tell if a school or center is appropriate? Those variables that I talked to about home versus center still absolutely apply. The age, the funding, all that stuff. However, when I'm really looking at a school or a center, I am mostly looking at my big three. Is a child safe? So let's talk about safety first. As I say in podcast 1 with my journey, and I have a whole podcast episode on my legal battles over the years. And I have an interview with Gary Mayerson as one of my podcast interviews, both, excellent podcast interviews and episodes. But when Lucas was, when he turned 3, that's right when he got the diagnosis and right when he was ready to go to the 3 to 5 programming, the program that was recommended was in the middle of the city. Lucas had just finished a year of 2-year-old preschool at our, neighborhood preschool that was, had an excellent reputation. So he already had that. He already got the diagnosis of autism. I had developed a home program in my house in the suburbs. And the program that was recommended with the 3 to 5-year-old program was in the middle of the city in a gun zone. So they could not do any outside playground time because it was in a gun zone. And then I had a choice to get him to this center. It was either I would drive him, but I also had Spencer, who was 18 months younger. So I would have to take my 18-month-old and my 3-year-old, essentially nonverbal child, drive both of them into this gun zone middle of the city, park, or I don't know what I would do. Maybe they would come and get Lucas out of the car and swiftly move him into the building. And then at the center, that was proposed, I think it was 15 minutes a week of one-to-one time. I mean, we were talking about studies showing kids needed 40 hours a week of one-to-one time, and this was going to give him 15 minutes a week in a classroom where he couldn't even go out to recess. And then every 6 weeks, because of funding, they would take like a 2-week break, so they didn't take summers off, but they had this scattered schedule. So right there, it wasn't a safe situation. Or he could stay in my home with his 40-hour-a-week program, which was proven. We had a yard with a fence. He could go outside. He could return to his typical preschool with one of his behavioral therapists. Like, which part of this would even make sense for him to go to this other option? So safety is huge. In Kelsey's situation, podcast 3, she was driving him. He was banging his head on hard surfaces 100 times a day. He was eloping from the center, running out of the door 3 blocks away when Kelsey was trying to drop him off. It's just not safe. So if it's a safety issue, then it's not appropriate. In addition to the center or school having safety, and it doesn't, you might have to put things in the IEP to make it safe for your child. A one-to-one during recess time, which with the one-to-one being within arm's distance of your child the entire time because there's no fence. You may need, whatever you need, but you have to make sure that the center or the school has enough safety considerations to make your child safe. You also want to make sure that the time during the school day is appropriate. They're going to be working on skills that your child needs, not skills he already has, not skills that are too hard, skills that are functional. And this is, again, depending on the age and the ability level. And I think as your child gets to be 10 or 12 or 14, we have to be thinking, no matter what the functioning level is, where are they headed? What skills are really going to be appropriate? I remember we had au pairs, which is how we kept Lucas safe. And I got to work and earn a PhD and travel, was we hired au pairs for a good 10 years of Lucas and Spencer's lives. And I remember one of our au pairs coming back after not seeing us for 3 or 4 years. And Lucas was probably 8 when she was here and 12 when she came back. And she said, like, his independent skills with, like, chores and showering and all that stuff just really improved. She didn't see a ton of gains with language. And it wasn't because we weren't trying and we weren't working on that. It's just, and like last week, Lucas answered his first why question spontaneously. We were walking in a parking lot of a restaurant after we ate, and I had been I work with him a little bit on why questions, like why is the pool closed, and he knows to say because, and so I go, oh, be careful, it's slippery. It had snowed a little bit. I said, be careful, it's slippery. And I go, why is it slippery? And he's like, because it snows. And, because he could see the snow, but it still was his first spontaneous answering why question. So I don't want you to think like I'm not working on language. I hope you enjoyed that short excerpt. If you did, I would love a thumbs up. Share it with somebody who might benefit. Leave us a comment. We always get to those. And for more information about joining our online courses and community, attend a free workshop at marybarbera.com/workshop. And I'll see you here next time.